The courtroom was not made for humans. Cold metal walls surrounded the large, round hall. Strange alien lights blinked from the ceiling. The air smelled like oil and rust. The audience was silent, thousands of aliens watching from all sides, sitting on high platforms. Some had wings. Some had glowing eyes. All of them stared down with judgment. In the center of the courtroom, two humans stood alone. One of them was Commander Jace Carter, tall, strong, in chains. His uniform was torn. Blood stained his face. But he stood straight, proud, eyes full of fire. He looked like a man ready to fight even in his last moment. Beside him, lying weak on her knees, was Dr. Alira Voss. Her face was bruised, her back. You showed deep cuts from earlier torture. Her hands were tied. But even now, she did not cry. She looked up, meeting Jace's eyes. A silent message passed between them. Hold on, just a little longer. A loud voice echoed across the hall. The prisoner, Alira Voss, has committed crimes against the Galactic Council. She spread human rebellion. She built illegal weapons. She gave hope to slaves. A tall alien judge stood, his skin like gray stone. She must be broken in front of all. Let her own kind punish her. Let the humans see what happens when they disobey. He turned to Jace. Commander Carter, you will whip her in front of the galaxy. 10 strikes. If you refuse, both of you die here. The hall was silent again. Millions were watching live across planets. Even Earth, still under alien control, was forced to show the broadcast. Jace looked down at the whip in his hands. It was heavy. Its end had sharp blades, a weapon made to crush bones and spirits. He looked at Alira. She did not beg. She did not look afraid. She only whispered, do what you must. And Jace smiled. He turned to the crowd and said loudly, I will give you what you want. Aliens leaned forward, eager. Some smiled. Others laughed. Jace raised the whip in the air. Seconds passed. Alira closed her eyes. Then, snap. The sound rang through the hall, but not from flesh, from metal. Jace had broken the whip in half. Gasps filled the room. The judges rose in shock. He threw the pieces to the floor and shouted, his voice shaking the air. I do not harm my own. I do not break the strong. I do not chain the free. Guards moved quickly toward him, but Jace was faster. With a roar, he kicked the nearest alien soldier, grabbed his weapon and smashed the next. Blood sprayed. Screams rose. Alira fell, but Jace caught her in his arms. He held her close and whispered, I told you I'd never let them win. Alarms rang. Red lights flashed. Drones flew in from all sides, but Jace ran through the chaos, holding Alira like she was made of gold. He blasted through the gates, down the hallways, past shocked guards. The alien announcer shouted, the human has gone rogue. Stop him. Stop him, but it was too late. Jace reached the outer hangar. A ship waited there, small, old, forgotten, but it had fuel. It had wings. He placed Alira inside and took the pilot's seat. Bullets flew. Lasers hit the side. As the engines roared. Alira looked at him, barely awake, and whispered, you just declared war on the council. Jace smiled. Good, it's about time someone did. The ship blasted into the sky, leaving behind fire, smoke, and a broken courtroom. The galaxy would never be the same again. ChatGPT said. Dark space stretched wide around the stolen ship. Stars, blinking like quiet witnesses. Inside, alarms still buzzed softly, warning of engine strain. But Jace didn't slow down. His hands gripped the controls tightly, knuckles pale, eyes locked on the black ahead. Behind him, Alira lay strapped to a makeshift medical bed. Her breathing was shallow, uneven. Her skin was pale. The wounds on her back had reopened during the escape. Jace kept glancing at her through the rear mirror. He wasn't a doctor, but he'd seen enough battlefield injuries to know she was running out of time. Hold on, he whispered, voice low, more to himself than her. You're not dying on me. Not now. He touched a blinking console. The map showed red dots, enemy ships spreading across sectors like poison. The council had acted fast. A bounty was already placed on him. Commander Jace Carter, alive, 50,000 credits. Dead, 100,000. Standard price for a traitor, double for a symbol. He switched channels, cycling through encrypted resistance codes. Most were silent. Deadlines, ghost signals. Then, one answered, a low buzz followed by static and a voice. Identify. This is Jace, he said, with Alira, she's hurt. We need a place to land. Temporary, hidden pause. Then a breath. You shouldn't be alive. Surprise, another pause. There's one place. Not safe, but no patrols. System R99 Warzone Delta. You'll find Rex and Silence coordinates. Sending now. Good luck. Don't expect help down there. The signal cut. Jace entered the new route. The ship shuddered as it turned sharply. He looked back again. Alira's lips were moving. Faint words he couldn't hear. She looked like she was dreaming. He remembered the first time he met her. She was fearless, even then arguing with alien scientists in their own labs, refusing to bow, refusing to break. She'd once risked her life to free him from a prison ship. Now it was his turn to repay the debt. The planet came into view slowly, a broken ball of rock and cloud. Long ago it was a battlefield during the first alien-human war. Now it was abandoned. unbreathable outside, lifeless, or so they believed. The ship pierced the atmosphere, turbulence shaking it like a dying bird. Systems blinked red. Shields dropped to 30%. Jace gritted his teeth and forced the controls steady. They landed hard, sliding across black dust and shattered metal. Silence followed. Jace stood up, checking Illyra, still breathing but weaker. He had to find shelter, medical supplies, anything. He opened the hatch and stepped out, his boots sinking into thick ash. The landscape was full of bones, giant machines, rusted tanks, broken alien armor. This wasn't just a graveyard, it was a museum of war. A warning. He dragged a portable shelter module out of the ship and activated it. A small dome expanded, shielding them from the toxic air inside. He placed Illyra on the ground and wrapped her in thermal layers. Then he opened his scanner, searching for old supply crates. The signal pinged. There was something nearby. Not supplies, not weapons, something active. He narrowed his eyes. It pulsed underground, deep mechanical energies. Something human-made, impossible, he muttered. The last time humans were here was decades ago. Everything should have been destroyed or stolen. He looked back at Illyra. Her eyes fluttered. Half awake now. You found something, she whispered. Yeah, he said softly. And I think it's calling us. She smiled weakly. They always buried their best secrets in dead places. Outside, the wind picked up. Dust swirled, and deep beneath the surface, something old and powerful began to hum. ChatGPT said, ash blue in slow circles across the dead valley. The sky above was a dull rust-colored swirl, no sun, no stars, just the thick breath of a forgotten battlefield. Jace stood still, knee-deep in black dust, staring at the entrance of a bunker that shouldn't exist. It was buried beneath twisted metal and bones of machines long destroyed. Alien helmets lay scattered like cracked eggshells, half melted. The ground buzzed beneath his boots, faint and steady like a heartbeat under stone. Behind him, Illyra leaned on a metal staff he'd carved from scrap. She moved slow, pain etched across her face, but her eyes were alive now, wide, focused, full of questions. This wasn't on any old war map, she said, wiping dust off a faded human logo half buried in the door. No, Jace replied, it wasn't meant to be found. They worked together, clearing debris. Every now and then, the wind howled through shattered wreckage, like the ghosts of soldiers warning them to turn back. The door finally opened with a deep hiss, revealing a tunnel soaked in darkness. Lights flickered on one by one as they stepped inside soft blue, powered by something still running deep below. Power grid is still alive, Illyra whispered. After all these years, it's not just a bunker, Jace muttered. It's a vault. They descended slowly. Walls changed from cracked steel to smooth, untouched alloy. Symbols glowed faintly, human design mixed with something else. Not alien, not exactly. Older, hybrid. They reached a circular chamber. In the center stood a pod, 6 meters tall, wrapped in old vines of dead wires and protective casing. And behind it, a terminal blinked green. Illyra stumbled toward it, her fingers trembling. This is a core. A weapon core. One of the lost ones. Jace stepped beside her, staring at the pod. It wasn't just a weapon. It was breathing. Slow, mechanical breath. In and out. What is it? He asked. She hesitated. I think it's not what ... it's who. Before she could say more, the ground trembled. Jace spun around, weapon raised. The darkness behind them shifted. Something moved slow, heavy footsteps. Metal scraping stone. From the far tunnel, a shape emerged. 10 feet tall, thin like bone, armored like a tank. Its face was a blank plate of glass. A red light blinked in its head. It spoke in a voice like broken radios. Unauthorized presence, human blood detected, weapon vault integrity compromised. Jace fired first. The bullet sparked off its chest. Useless. The creature leaped forward like lightning. Jace shoved Illyra aside and dove just as a blade smashed into the floor where he'd stood. Dust flew. Alarms in the vault screamed to life. He rolled and grabbed a fallen beam, swinging it hard into the machine's neck. It staggered just for a second, but that second was enough. Illyra had reached the terminal. Her fingers flew across it, typing codes she barely remembered. The pod in the center began to glow. The machine turned toward her. Jace screamed. Illyra, move. Too late. The creature lunged, and then the pod opened. Light exploded outward, blinding white and gold. A sound, not like any weapon Jace had heard before, echoed through the chamber. When the light faded, the machine lay in pieces, cut clean in half. And standing in the center of the room was someone. A man, or what used to be a man. His body shimmered with armor fused into flesh. His eyes glowed silver. On his back, long blades folded like wings, and across his chest, a faded symbol, Earth Defense Unit 01. He looked at Jace and Illyra, then spoke. Captain ... your war is not over. Jace stared, breath caught in his throat. Illyra whispered, they didn't just build weapons down here, they built legends. The light in the vault pulsed again. Somewhere, across the stars, something ancient had just woken up, and it remembered who its enemies were. ChatGPT said. Silence stretched over the bunker like a held breath. The man, if he could still be called that, stood motionless in the center of the chamber. His skin gleamed with nanometal. His eyes weren't eyes at all, but twin orbs of shifting data, scanning the room, scanning them. Jace raised his weapon slowly, unsure. The figure didn't flinch. Instead, he spoke again, voice calm but layered with a strange mechanical echo. Designation, Captain Jace Carter. Confirmed genetic match. Field command authorized. Jace froze. How do you know my name? The figure tilted his head slightly, like hearing something distant. I was programmed to wait for you. Or someone like you, a human rebel. A fighter, someone who didn't kneel. Behind Jace, Alira was already at the terminal, hands flying. Her energy had returned, pain forgotten, curiosity burning. This vault, it's not just military storage, she murmured. It's an interface point. Old Earth Command built these two high-knowledge AI weapons, and sleeper soldiers. Like him, exactly like him. But most were lost, shut down or destroyed after the First War. Jace lowered his weapon. Why are you still active? The figure stepped forward. Dust fell from his armor like snow. Because Earth knew this war would come again. They just didn't know when. I've waited 72 years for a signal, for orders. For someone to light the fire. He turned toward the main console. Placed a hand on the pad. Instantly, the room changed. Holograms burst to life, maps of space sectors, enemy fleet movements, prison locations, council networks, a galaxy's worth of stolen secrets, hidden. Here, frozen in time. Jace stared at the glowing Earth symbol pulsing in the center. He stepped closer. This is real time. How? Earth never went silent, the soldier said. The council just silenced your receivers, Alira gasped. You mean Earth has been watching and waiting for someone to answer? A quiet ping echoed from the console. A new signal. Jace moved toward the screen. A text transmission blinked, marked only by 2 words. Stand ready. No name, no coordinates, just that. He read it twice, then turned to Alira. They're still out there. Alira's face was pale, her voice barely a whisper. We're not alone. Jace's pulse quickened. The pain, the fear, it all burned away, replaced by something else. Something sharp, something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. We need to send a reply, he said. Let them know the resistance isn't dead. Alira was already typing encrypted burst through the vault relay. It'll take a few hours to bounce across black space, but if Earth's listening. She hit the final key. The message went out. Commander Carter, Dr. Alira Voss, alive, free, the fire is lit. The moment it left the terminal, the old soldier turned toward them once more. If you send that message, the council will know. Jace looked him dead in the I let them come. The vault lights dimmed. Somewhere above, in the empty sky of a dead world, something had shifted. Satellites, long buried under command lockdown, turned like sleeping giants, and far, far away, on a blue world, thought conquered, someone read their message, and stood up from the shadows. For the first time in decades, Earth would answer. ChatGPT said. Smoke curled from the entrance of the vault. Thin and slow, like breath on a cold morning. The wind had changed. Jace felt it before he saw the shimmer on the horizon, like heat waves bending light, but colder, sharper. Wrong, they were here. The council didn't waste time. High above the battlefield planet, 5 sleek alien transports broke through the cloud's silent black, shaped like needles. No warning, no message, just presence. That's how the council hunted rebels. Quietly, completely. Inside the bunker, Jace was already moving. He dropped fresh power cells into his rifle, checked the blade holstered to his leg, and turned to Alira. She was at the vault's terminal again, finalizing the data packet. Their message had gone out hours ago. Now they were uploading stolen war maps, troop routes, prison locations. A gift for Earth. I need 2 more minutes, she said, voice tight, eyes locked on the screen. You've got one, Jace replied. Outside, the soldier, the hybrid, the sleeper, stood at the edge of the ruined battlefield, unmoving, watching the sky. His armor shimmered with faint blue lines, like veins under skin. Can you fight? Jace asked him. I was made for nothing else. They didn't shake hands. They didn't trade words. They simply moved. Jace stepped out of the vault first. The first alien assassin landed 20 meters from him, sliding through ash like a blade through silk. Not bulky, not loud, deadly in silence, just as the council trained them. She had 6 limbs, each ending in hooked claws. Her face was hidden behind a mirrored mask. She didn't speak. She lunged. Jace dodged left, rolled through dust, and brought his rifle up. 1 shot to the leg. The assassin stumbled. Another shot to the mask glass shattered, revealing pale, cold skin and eyes like ice. She hissed. Blood kept coming. Jace ran forward, slid under her swing, and stabbed the blade into her ribs. She fell without a sound. No time to breathe. More dropships hissed as they touched down. 2, then 3, then more. Alien shapes scattered across the valley, hunters with long rifles, hounds made of bone and machine. Jace stood alone at the center of it all. He fired, he moved, he ducked, punched, kicked, slammed one attacker into another. The ash became smoke, and smoke became fire. This was what he was built for, not chains, not courtrooms, but chaos. Back at the vault, Elira watched his vitals flicker across the screen. Heart rate redlined, blood pressure crashing. Still, he kept fighting. He can't win this alone, she whispered. The sleeper soldier turned toward her. He's not alone. Then he was gone, a blur of metal and fury as he launched himself into the fight. He moved like a ghost through a storm, slashing, twisting, using alien weapons against their owners. For a second, the sky itself seemed to hesitate. Jace saw him arrive, saw the tide shift. But even together they were outnumbered. They couldn't hold this line forever. Elira, Jace shouted into his comm. Did the beacon finish uploading it? Did I send everything? Then hit the switch. She reached under the console and pulled the lever. A low hum rolled across the battlefield. Then a sound deep, ancient, shaking the bones of the planet. From under the ground behind the vault, something stirred. Stone cracked. Dust exploded upward, and from beneath the battlefield, a tower rose. Not a building, a transmitter. Old human, forgotten it had one purpose. Summon the Leviathan. Jace didn't look back. He didn't need to. He just smiled. He just woke up a sleeping giant, he said, catching his breath as the last assassin fell. The sky split open, and above them, from the edges of black space, something began to arrive. Massive, slow, powerful, not a ship, not a fleet, a weapon built before Earth fell. And it was listening. ChatGPT said. The stars dimmed when it arrived. It didn't come with fire, it didn't roar. It simply appeared like it had always been there, just waiting for the right signal to wake. A shape the size of a small moon, drifting silently above the war-scarred planet. No lights, no windows, no flag, but every sensor on the battlefield froze. The alien dropship stopped mid. Council soldiers paused, heads tilting toward the sky. Even the air itself grew heavier. Elira looked up from the vault entrance, whispering one word: Leviathan. The name wasn't official. It was legend spoken in old rebel circles, passed like myths between broken prisons and dead worlds. Earth's final weapon, an AI warship so powerful, so dangerous, they never dared use it during the first occupation. Some said Earth buried it on purpose. Others said it buried itself, but it had heard her signal, and now it wanted to speak. Jace's cum crackled with static, then a voice not cold like a machine, but deep, calm, deliberate. Identity confirmed. Commander Jace Carter, Dr. Elira Voss. Authorization recognized. Uploading interface. Now, Jace's arms suddenly burned. He looked down, his skin glowing faintly. Symbols crawling across his veins. Nanotech, Earthborn, something inside him had been marked long ago, and Leviathan had found it. Elira gasped. It chose you. No, Jace said quietly. It remembers me. From above, a beam of blue light descended, soft as moonlight. It touched the earth, then widened, forming a column. Not an attack, an invitation. Jace stepped, and everything changed. He wasn't on the battlefield anymore. He stood in a chamber of light, floating between stars. No walls, no sound, just presence. And then a shape formed before him, human, maybe male, with silver eyes and a cloak of shifting code. Leviathan's avatar. You fight like the old ones, it said. You bleed for them, you break their chains. That's enough. What are you? Jace asked. I am what Earth left behind when hope ran out. A guardian, a gravekeeper, a weapon too large for peace, and too angry for surrender. Then help us, Jace said, because the war's not over. It just went quiet. Leviathan tilted its head, then let it be loud again. In the real world, the ship moved. Its hull split open slowly, revealing ancient rail cannons the size of towers. Energy crackled along its edges, targeting systems locked onto the council ships still frozen in the air. One shot, just one. A pulse beam fired silently from the Leviathan, brighter than anything Jace had ever seen. And the nearest council ship didn't explode. It vanished. Dust, atoms, gone. The rest scattered instantly, engines screaming. Elira watched, speechless, as her screen filled with data. Leviathan wasn't just a weapon, it was a battlefield by itself. A living war engine. Jace stepped out of the light column, eyes burning with new focus. We just leveled the playing field, he said. The sleeper soldiers, still bloodied from the fight, nodded once. Not yet, but soon. Jace looked at the horizon. Then let's finish what they started. Far above, Leviathan turned slowly toward the core systems of the Galactic Council. For the first time in 100 years, Earth had teeth again. ChatGPT said. The Council did not wait to negotiate. It never had. Across the stars, they gathered, cold, precise, unshaken by fear. Fleets formed in silence. Black armored dreadnoughts slid out of deep space vaults. Billions of credits worth of weaponry, centuries of strategy. An entire species bred for war, all aimed at one target. Earth, not because Earth had struck first, but because Earth had answered. In the dark war rooms of alien strongholds, the message repeated again and again. The Leviathan has awakened. A human rebellion is active. Destroy them before they inspire more. But it was already too late. Across fractured colonies and underground prisons, humans raised their heads. The silence stood. The broken re-armed. The fire had been lit. and it was spreading faster than fear could contain it. And at the center of it all, on the bridge of a ship that was half machine, half memory, stood Jace Carter. He didn't wear medals. He didn't give speeches. He just stood in front of the control core, watching enemy markers swarm across the star map like blood cells around a wound. Behind him, Alira adjusted her neural interface, connecting directly to Leviathan's ancient systems. Her voice was .com, but her hands shook. "They're bringing everything," she said. "This is the largest armada the Council's ever launched." "Good," Jace replied. "Then we'll break everything." Outside, the stars lit up. The first wave arrived, fast hyperspeed raiders and long-range bombardment. Leviathan's shields flared, absorbing the strikes like rain on steel. Earth's hidden fleet, small outnumbered, dropped out of stealth to defend her, 50 ships against 500, and they didn't flinch. Alira activated Leviathan's targeting grid. "Weapon systems ready. Fire at will," Jace said. The response was not sound but light. Beams, bursts, arcs of plasma, and ancient kinetic slugs that tore through ships like paper, human-made. Weapons fused with stolen alien tech, hybrid, ugly, efficient. The battlefield became a storm. Jace moved through it like a conductor. Every command sharpened the blade. Every order another blow to the Council's pride. Fighters dove in perfect formation. AI-assisted targeting painted the stars with wreckage. Still, the enemy pressed harder. Boarding pods slammed into Leviathan's hull. The corridors filled with shadowed shapes, soldiers spread to erase resistance, armored monsters trained to kill humans on sight. Jace met them head-on, no longer in a courtroom, no longer chained. He fought with blade and bullet, side by side with Earthborn Marines, with Alira firing from behind makeshift cover, and the sleeper soldier carving through enemies like a storm given form. Every floor they defended became a declaration. "We are not yours. We are not broken. We are not done." Alira reached the main uplink, her fingers bleeding, her breath ragged. "I can tap into the enemy's command net," she said. "Broadcast to every channel." Jace nodded. "Let them hear it." She activated the feed across fleets, across cities, across every screen in Council space. Her face appeared bruised, defiant, unafraid. Her voice rang clear. "This is Dr. Alira Voss. You told us we were weak. You told us we were alone. You told us humanity was finished. You were wrong." And then the feed cut to a view of the Council's flagship exploding in a slow-burning spiral as Leviathan's core cannon fired once more. One by one, enemy ships began to fall back, not because they were losing ships, but because they were losing control. They had ruled with fear, and now they feared. Hours later, the battlefield was quiet, not empty but quiet. Jace stood at the bridge again, watching the wreckage drift. Alira joined him, leaning against the railing. "They'll come back," she said. "New leaders, new weapons." He nodded. "Then we'll be ready." She smiled, tired but proud. "You didn't just save me back there, Jace. You saved us." He looked out at the stars, no longer as cold, no longer as far. "I didn't save anyone," he said. "I just reminded them who we are." Behind him, Leviathan pulsed with light, still waiting, still listening. Not a weapon anymore, but a promise. Earth was awake, and the galaxy would never forget.